Star Trek Enterprise, Oasis, first season. Let's get into the review. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share it around. It'd be great. You don't have to. Let's get into the review. So we're greeted with the Enterprise having a cordial dinner around Captain Archer's table with an alien who's trading. He enjoys things. There's a little bit of banter about food and about T'Pol. And then he begins talking of a ship that he found on a planet. But the people on that ship didn't want them there. And considering he said the ship was crashed and empty, is it ghosts? Probably not ghosts, but they do play it like it is ghosts, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It tries to be creepy. It tries to be spooky. They get to the planet. They get to the ship. It's dark, but not dark enough to be scary. It's one of those things that Star Trek always does. They want to go for like a horror genre, but they never push it too much. And this is a really good episode for using sort of technology in a new and fun way. So when they arrive on the ship, they see that there's some power running. They see that there's some things going on that are a little weird. Then they come across an arboretum, which has green stuff in it. People appearing and disappearing. They freak out. T'Pol and Trip are captured. Archer goes down there. He meets up with the people. They are all a crew of the ship they crashed apparently 3 years ago. Now, you may notice in this episode some familiar faces. If you didn't notice the names in the credits, of which ruined it completely. It'd be nice if the surprise was kept, which they would do now, but early 2000s, who gives a fuck? Rene Auberjonois is discreetly in the background. You may know him as Odo in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and you may know him as this Admiral in Star Trek 6. Now, Rene Auberjonois his character in Deep Space Nine is amazing. He's also just an incredible actor in general. You may also notice another actor, Annie Wersching, I believe, who, this is her first episode in Star Trek, but she does come back in Star Trek Picard as the Ball Queen in Season 2. And it's just amazing to watch the juxtaposition between these two characters. Trip and T'Pol are released. They're going to help them repair their ship so they can escape. Trip takes an immediate liking to Annie Wersching's character, Lalana or something. And there's a little bit of chemistry there. T'Pol brings up the fact that he keeps talking about her and maybe he shouldn't get too attached, and brings up him getting pregnant earlier in the season, which is fair enough. Trip goes, are you always going to bring that up? Kind of. They invite some of the crew up. Annie Wersching ends up going. She's allowed to. Trip and T'Pol are helping rebuild the ship, and then they get told they need to fix a computer core. Now, Trip is a bit like, okay, we'll fix the computer core. They're working it out. We find out that the ship hasn't been crashed there for 3 years. It's been 22 years. We find out that there's a shuttle, an escape pod in space, and when they pull the body out, it's one of the guards, of whom, can I point out, they really didn't emphasize this guard enough. Like, maybe make it the captain or just someone that had actually spoken, because it was really weird. So Trip approaches I can't even pronounce her name, Annie Wersching's character, and sort of asks her, like, how long have you been there? She's like, I can't tell you. She keeps her promise, like the father didn't want to tell her. So there's not enough food for this giant crew. There's 22 years from the oxygenate. I'm having trouble talking tonight. Oxygenation of the hull of the ship shows 22 years. There's a lot of things not adding up. So when they beam back down, they ask a lot of questions, and then they get pretty much sent away. But the crew keep appearing and disappearing, popping in, popping out, walking past. It's played sort of like a horror. Now, if you haven't figured out what it is yet, because believe me, very much figured this out. I remember watching it originally. The entire crew is holograms created by Odo's character, Rene Auberjonois' character. of whom crashed on the planet with his daughter, and he created his the mother who they talk to, the captain, the crew of the ship, in order to keep things going and make it more normal for them. Don't really understand why they stayed there for 22 years, but he built a life for himself on this planet with these hollow people. To him, they are real. To him, they are real people. Eventually, he wants to kick the Enterprise crew off. Annie Wershing is back on the planet, and there's a moment where her and Trip are bonding, and she decides when they're attacking Archer and the crew, because obviously they're coming through walls, they're popping up one place, reappearing in another, they're stronger, they don't get hurt, they're holograms, they're light and photons or whatever holograms are meant to be. As I said in every review with a holodeck, it's not really like amazing how it worked. Now, Annie Wershing decides she's in the computer mainframe, and she pulls out the cards, turning off the holograms. And it's a big thing. And Trip is, there's an insinuation that she wants to leave because she's met Trip, and of course, love leads her away. And she sort of he talks to her father, and Renee Auberjonois sort of goes, she never wanted to leave before Trip. And there's a lot of things. Like, it's not inherently bad. They don't actually kill anyone. Their weapons are very real, though, which I like. There's a nice little touch that when they turn off the holograms, the weapons fall to the ground. So the weapons were real. So there was some sort of tension. Renee Auberjonois finally sort of settles. They agree to fix the ship. Annie Wershing is staying, obviously, because she wants to be with her dad, but she wants to get back to where she was. They fix the ship, they fix the computer main motherboard, and the holograms are all back, and Annie Wershing says like a nice, peaceful farewell to Trip. They have a smooch. And it's just sweet. It's just sweet. She realized that there's more for her. I'm gathering it's boys. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was sort of Trip talking about space and the universe a bit more, and a little less Trip is handsome. But that's fine. That's just the way Enterprise is written. Renee Auberjonois' character comes to Archer in his ready room, and he talks about how beautiful the ship is. And they have this conversation about being a father and how he wants her to have the most, and how he has to change to give his daughter the most in the world. And it's a really sweet little moment, and it's nice to have sort of Archer and Renee, Spacula and Renee talking just on the Enterprise, and about how a nice little sort of nod moment. Now, let's get into the whole episode, because they go on their way. Archer and they go on their way. It's not the greatest story. I do like the fact that they tried to lean into horror. I wish they'd gone a bit more and maybe emphasized it a bit more. I do wish the mystery wasn't quite so obvious from the very beginning. And it's very clear. They highlight that Renee Auberjonois is alive and Annie is alive. Very early, like that. And so I remember figuring it out. And if you know, this is sort of part of Enterprise's problem or birthing pains in the last half of the first season and the beginning half of the second season. They sort of just go back to stock standard stories, and we don't get anything new or different. It's just sort of like you could place this story on any ship. I do like the fact that bringing Renee back and having sort of a mystery around it, and it's a cool mystery. Like, I love seeing the holograms being used as weapons, but also because they can pop in, pop out, go through walls, be solid, be lit. Like, it gives you a real sense of, actually, holodecks would be an amazing weapon you put in the wrong hands. And I genuinely sat there and went, that's the best bit of this episode. It's not the story. It's not Annie Wershing's love for Trip. Like, Trip is handsome. We know this. Renee was amazing. He always is. We know he's amazing. But the way that they use the holodeck in a new way, or the holograms in a new way, like, they've done a bit with the Doctor where he sort of can go through things, stuff like that, but they've never shown it in a sort of an enemy coming at us thing. And that is what I actually really liked. And if you've watched any of my reviews, animated series, Voyager, Enterprise, generally I like new concepts or new ways of doing things. And that's the one thing in this episode that really sort of saved it. I was genuinely like, oh, that's an interesting way to use holograms. Overall, It was great to see Annie Wershing. It was great to see Renee Auberjonois. And it was just it was a good episode. It was a light episode. It was fun, a little bit of horror. Wish they were more dark, but it's great. What did you think about Star Trek Enterprise Oasis? Make sure to write it in the comments. Like this video, share this video. Any help is greatly appreciated. I will see you on the weekend with more videos.